were saying that, you were having client boundary issues and things like that. So all the growing pains of a business. And so if we can kind of talk a little bit about those growing pains, what were those growing pains and how did you, I know, like you said that you just kind of shifted your model, but how did you overcome it otherwise as well?
I had an employee mindset, right? Like my client is my boss and they ask me to do something and I figure out how to do it no matter what, And so that's the mindset that I had. And I didn't really know that there was another way. And so, like I said, because I could not, I was a people pleasing, say yes person because it was easier for me to say yes and do the thing than it was for me to have the conversation with them about not doing it. So it was very self-preservationist, I guess, to avoid the conflict of, because I hadn't set any boundaries up front and I really had no idea how to do that. And so I, starting the 5-day challenge was like saving myself from all of that. But I am so grateful that I had a business coach come through that 5-day challenge and then asked me, to do her website for her. And I said, I don't work with clients anymore. And she asked me why, and I explained to her the issues. And she's like, I would love to coach you on setting boundaries and different things because, you could add that back into your business and quit your day job faster. And I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like, now we're stepping into the business journey as a personal development journey that I didn't know that I needed to go on, which was learning how to set boundaries, how to say no, how to hold my value, how to value, skills that I learned for free. I did not go to school for web design. I was self-taught over all of my career. And so I was like, well, if I learned for free, it would be as if you went to law school, if you just learned the law online and learned it for free. And then you're like, I can't charge people for this because I didn't pay for it. Like, that's the mindset that I had, that like the 15 years I spent learning was worth nothing, which is so not true.
No, it's not.
And because I didn't pay someone to learn it. And so she really helped me figure out how to establish those boundaries. And I did start offering one-on-one web design services. And that was like, I had a hybrid business model at that point. I was doing the free training and then I was offering services and I was defining the relationship up front. Imagine that, like with my contracts, imagine that, like all of the things that someone who probably knows how to run a business would have maybe done up front. But it kind of took me a while to realize that like I had some personal things to work on to grow into the person who could set boundaries.
You got a business coach. And, I think in that entrepreneur's journey, they figure that out, not in the beginning. No one hires a business coach in the beginning. No one hires a coach for anything in the beginning, generally, right? Like it just kind of very organically pops into your life.
I didn't even know it was an option. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know it was something that people did, that there were business coaches. I was flying blind in the beginning. And then, I also had this thing where it's like, I can figure this out on my own. I'm smart. The internet has all the answers at my fingertips. Look at all these experts giving all this information away for free. I'm techie. I can reverse engineer this stuff. I don't need help. And really what that was masking was like, if I invest in this and it doesn't work out, then I have failed and I've lost something. That's what I would think. So I would withhold paying money for the right kind of help because like if I didn't get the results or whatever, then I didn't lose because I put nothing in, right? But every free moment of time that I had, I was not considering that as an investment, right? My time, my emotions, like all of that stuff.
Oh gosh, you just literally hit on such an important thing because it's so true. A lot of times we measure success on the metrics of how much money we made out of something. Yep. And I mean, I'm totally guilty of that this past year as well. And it's not that. It's the investment of your energy, your emotional energy, your physical energy. That is also opportunity cost, all of that. And then also wasting your time. Wasting your time on things you're just not good at.
Yes. Yeah. And so finally, I did invest in a business coach early on. And then that, like, I slowly increased what I was willing to put in. And then, like, I got to this point where I realized, like, online courses are great. Don't get me wrong. I offer them, but there comes a point at which, like, I needed eyeballs on my specific business. Like, I needed someone to, like, look at my business, my goals, me, my personality, my strengths, my weaknesses, and, like, help me, not just teach me something, but, like, help me. And that is when I was like, that was probably one of the biggest investments that I made in my business. But, like, I was changed. I was a changed person after, like, parting with, quote unquote, that much money, which I think it was like $5,000 at the time, which now it seems like such a deal for what I got. But at the time it seemed like such a stretch. But I was like, I know without a shadow of a doubt that when I part with this $5,000, that I will do every single thing that they tell me, no matter what. I know I'm all in. I believe in myself. I wasn't putting the belief in them to give them the money that they would solve all my problems. I had the utmost belief in me that I would implement everything. And so it was just a whole different mindset than when I was, like, new.
It's really cool, actually, to see that. So that's really neat. And so talking about that, the mindset, when you have moments of confusion, what anchors you? When you have moments of, I don't know what's happening, or your mindset is kind of defeating at some point. So what anchors you at that time?
I can definitely be like a spin out kind of person, spin out and overwhelm. Like, I don't know what decision to make, just kind of like ruminating on the same decision over and over again. And I can just distract myself with work, busy work, to avoid that. But that always comes back. That uncertainty and everything, it always comes back. So really what anchors me, and you said, you're non-negotiable every day. Like, I journal every single morning. So I will open up, just a page, and I'll just be like, just like get it all out. And that usually gives me clarity. Then I can, like, kind of look back and think, and this is just through coaching and mentoring too, look at that to be like, is that true? Is that just something you're thinking? Is that the only way this could go? What if it did work out? Like, I can, like, get all of that stuff out on paper, and then I can, like, put my own coach hat on and act as if I'm, like, talking to one of my students and they came to me with that, like, information. And then I can kind of, like, coach myself through a lot of that type of stuff. Not to say that I don't have to do that, like, every day for a week before I believe myself, but that really anchors me. And then a lot of times just remembering I do have people I can ask for help. Like, I do not have to spend a week figuring this out on my own. I can just go into one of the groups that I pay to be a part of and ask my coach. And that's one of the things that always kind of comes a little late for me to remember that, like, oh, I don't have to figure this out on my own. Imagine that.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget that we can ask for help. And I think that's so important to know that there's a lot of tools out there for help.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. I have to ask, what are some legal challenges that you faced, or what have you done to prevent them? This is law chat, so I'm going to have to talk a little bit about the law.
So some of the legal challenges I had at first was, like, feeling like a contract was something that I would do if I didn't trust someone. So I had this, like, mindset that, like, oh, I don't need a contract with them. I trust them. The only reason I would need a contract is if I thought I would need it in case something went south. So I missed a huge opportunity at the beginning of my business to set boundaries, which I realized, oh, contracts help me explain the boundaries of this project and how it's going to go before we even start to my client. So that was a big mindset shift that I had to make about contracts and agreements and things like that. I'd be like, oh, you're not going to sue me. We don't need a contract. It's like, it's not about that. It's about me having the terms of engagement for all how this is going to go up front. And then if you do sue me, then I have this contract.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big mindset shifts I had to make.
Alongside from even setting up the boundaries and the expectations of a relationship, I think another major key element that a contract provides is also ownership of the property, intellectual property that's created.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And especially in your business, there's a lot of intellectual property created. And so who owns it? And I think, there's certain ways of conveying that ownership also properly or assigning it properly. And it's usually done through a written instrument. So yeah, contracts are very important. And I'm so glad actually that I always ask like my guests, so what are some legal challenges you've had or, things like that. And I love that you are so preventative in what you have been doing, where it's kind of like, I don't know it, but it's okay. I need to figure it out rather than being scared and fearful of it. Well, I have had so much fun talking to you, but before we say bye, I just going to ask you quick fun facts. Your favorite book, whether it's personal, business, personal growth.
Oh, so Ash Amberger wrote The Middle Finger Project. I loved that book. It was very empowering for entrepreneurs who, really just want to go for it,
Mm-hmm.
So I loved that. And then right now I'm reading David Chang's Eat a Peach. He's a restaurant owner and he has shows like Ugly Delicious and stuff like that, all about his entrepreneurial journey. So that's really good too. I'm about halfway through that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to put them on my reading list.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then what is some of your favorite biz tools, apps, or resources?
Obviously, WordPress. I use ConvertKit. Airtable right now, I am in love with. It's like a database tool, but that's just because I'm a tech nerd. Mm-hmm. It automates a lot of processes. ConvertKit is my preferred email software. Yeah, so just all of those little techie tools. Deadline Funnel is a good one. I use that quite often for timed offers and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to have to look into this Airtable and see what it's all about.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
I love tech stuff. So this has been such a pleasure talking to you. I have personally been enriched through this conversation today, and I am excited to kind of go hang out on your website also and check out some things. But for others, how can they hang out with you? Where can they connect with you? Where can they sign up for your challenges as well?
All the things can be found at shannonmattern.com, and you guys can connect with me on Instagram at shannonlmattern.
Wonderful. I'm going to put all those links in the show notes. And it was just so brilliant to have you on the show today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.